On this edition of Somerville Neighborhood News, Somerville's public schools welcome English language learners with a formula for success. Local resources say no more to domestic violence. And City Hall celebrates the Latino experience with photos, food, and culture. All this and more tonight on Somerville Neighborhood News.
Hello and welcome to Somerville Neighborhood News. Today is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2015, Election Day here in Somerville. I'm Joe Lynch. Somerville Public Schools students speak more than 50 native languages. A U.S. Census Bureau report finds that non-English speakers and those with little English language ability earn on average half of what fluent speakers earn. In Somerville, combining English language learning with grade-appropriate content adds up to success.
In Somerville, 50% of public school students have a mother tongue other than English, and 17% of them are enrolled in English language learning classes. Sarah De Villa is the director of the English Learners Program for Somerville Public Schools.
The Parent Information Center is the first stop for new English learner families. And at the Parent Information Center, we do the initial identification for needs for language support and language assessment, so we place each child appropriately.
Ajaridu Kawira moved from Mali a few years ago with her two daughters in order to reunite with her husband. Ajaridu Kawira speaks French and Bambara. When they arrived in the U.S., they didn't speak any English. She brought her two daughters to the Parent Information Center for support.
There were a lady who speak French who helped me a lot because she was translating everything to me, and then they did her some test to see what is her level, which level she's gonna be.
Once students are evaluated, they are placed in a class with other English language learners of a similar grade level. How do you teach a class of third graders that speak up to 8 different languages? Hannah De Souza Rodriguez faces that challenge every day. She is a third grade teacher at the Argenziano School in Union Square.
In Somerville, we have what's called the Sheltered English Immersion classrooms, and that is a self-contained classroom in my case. So I have students who are learning English and learning the curriculum at the same time, and it's a great way, obviously for students to learn English because we are all in it together. Everybody is new and at the similar stage of language development, and we are immersed in English. So that's my instructional language is English, but I can use any other language that I speak or any resource in their native language to support their learning in content and definitely making connections between the languages.
De Souza Rodriguez speaks English, Brazilian Portuguese, and Spanish, and she grew up speaking Jamaican Patois. For her, the variety of languages is not the hardest part. The most difficult part of her job is teaching kids in the same classroom who speak English at different levels.
Students in my classroom have English language proficiencies at levels 1, 2, and some 3s. So that's entering, beginning, and developing. So we really are like a family, and we help each other. And the children who already have more oral English, they serve as models for the students who are beginning. So that's part of my job, to differentiate, challenging some students and then supporting other students in different ways.
De Souza Rodriguez gets creative, using lots of visual materials and lots of physical gestures.
In the fall semester, we work on map skills, and because our students are from all over the world, we kind of go from the big picture to the small picture. So we look at a world map, we talk about the different hemispheres, the continents, and then students talk about where they come from and what continent their country is on. Had to put a star on their country, and even their, if they could locate their city in their country on their little globe that they made. We talk about the difference between a globe and a map.
Hannah De Souza Rodriguez is accredited in both English language learning and elementary education, giving equal emphasis to the curriculum and the students' need for language development is a balancing act.
It's challenging in the fact that you really need to know the curriculum very well and then understand where your students are in terms of their language development. And then you need to be able to really infuse a lot of language into the curriculum and also shelter the content. So I've been doing third grade now for 9 years. I have a really great grasp on the content and the standards, the Common Core standards in each subject area.
Ajabaru Koida's daughter are now 10 and 13. Both are enrolled in the Argenziano school. Her older daughter participated in the shelter program when she was in elementary school.
Yeah, that it was very helpful for us because first she didn't speak English, so she couldn't just jump in the normal class. So she really need this step before going to the normal class, and then the teacher helped us a lot. There were always someone who was working with her and then going slowly like at her level. And then sometimes they help me too, because at home if she come with some homework I can't help her, then I just took note, and then after I'm gonna see the teacher, and then the teacher can explain to me, then I can explain to her back.
The team approach is the foundation to helping families succeed here in Somerville.
We also have programs for parents called the Somerville Family Learning Collaborative, and in that program we have English classes for parents as well. The curriculum is focused on supporting learners in the school experience. We also have lots of different workshops on the curriculum, on healthy social and emotional development, on health, and opportunities for the community to get together and celebrate our differences. We really do pride ourselves in that we have many avenues for parents to become involved and to become leaders in our school district. I think one of my favorite stories is of a mom of 2 children, and her children are English learners. The family's from Nepal. And the mom is also an English learner, so she participated in English classes, and then she became a parent leader, helping other parents get connected to all the services and programs that we provide. And now she is an English teacher, and she has one of our most popular classes working with other Nepalese families in a play group and also in studying English themselves.
Ajabaru Koida has a similar story. She spoke no English when she first arrived in the U.S. Now she is a parent leader at the Argenziano school.
Parent leader is like we are liaison between parent and the school. We will teach them how the school system works, and then we encourage them to come to parent-teacher meeting, which is very important.
Ajabaru Koida became a parent leader to give back to the community.
Being a parent leader is a very important job for me because first, when I take from me, when I first came here, I had people to help me to integrate in the school system. So that's the same job I'm doing to other parents now.
Currently, the English Language Learner program in Somerville Public Schools serves more than 900 students. And if you are a parent, you can also become a parent leader. For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Callie Thomas.
October marked Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The national campaign is working to bring abuse out of the shadows. Reporter Ellie Romano reports on Somerville agencies that protect abuse victims and offer support as they rebuild their lives.
Well, she was drunk.
Boys will be boys. I'm sure they'll work it out.
He warned her.
She was asking for it.
Why doesn't she just leave?
1 in 5 women and 1 in 7 men experience domestic violence in their lifetimes. Many of those hide the abuse, feeling ashamed and powerless. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, bringing the issue out of the shadows and offering hope to the abused. Domestic violence happens across all social and economic groups. In a diverse city like Somerville, abuse can happen to anyone. There are several outreach organizations here in the city that are ready to help anyone who has suffered from domestic abuse. Respond began 40 years ago as a small network of shelters.
We have moved beyond just sheltering folks. We also do a lot of education, and we do a lot of training in workplace to help employers recognize signs of domestic violence, and expanded our services to include counseling services, housing search, help with job placement, etc.
Abuse victims often need more than just shelter because domestic violence can take much more than physical safety away from a victim.
So domestic violence is a pattern of abuse and control. It's control one person exerts over another person. It's not just physical abuse, and I think most people think automatically physical abuse is domestic abuse, and certainly a pattern of physical abuse is domestic violence, but there's also other methods of control: financial control, sexual assault, threats. We see threats all the time, and then isolation.
Respond continues to operate an emergency shelter to protect those fleeing extremely dangerous situations.
Generally, we like to keep people in our shelter no longer than 90 days. It's an emergency shelter. We can serve about 85 people a year, and we're turning away about 2,300 people a year calling our hotline looking for emergency shelter. So the need is really great.
Because domestic violence affects adults and their children, Parenting Journey on Somerville Avenue offers support to anyone in need and their families.
Most of the women that come through that are survivors or have experienced domestic violence learn to build trust within themselves, within their families.
Parenting Journey understands that surviving abuse is a process that takes time and support.
When people come through Parenting Journey, it's a 12-week curriculum. So it's a 12-week sessions, 2 hours a week. So that's 12 weeks of their time. When people need extra help, then we refer out to maybe Respond or Casa Myrna. I'm a survivor of domestic violence myself, and it took many, many years to get out of it and to stay out of it. It's an ongoing process.
Awareness is the first step to escaping an abusive relationship. Services exist here in Somerville to help. If you are someone struggling with domestic abuse, seek help.
If somebody is struggling with domestic abuse in their family, first of all is to admit that there is some abuse going on, to talk about it, to reach out for help, ask for support.
It's not your fault. You're not alone. And to call a hotline.
There's so many people going through it that you don't realize until you open up and talk about it, and just get out, and just, there's so many places, even if, you have to leave your community, it's worth it to be safe.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Ellie Romano.
You can find more information on these organizations and additional support services on the Domestic Violence Resource page at somervillepd.com. City Hall became La Alcaldía de la Ciudad for the evening to celebrate the Latino experience here in Somerville. Visitors explored hallways filled with art, music, food, and photos that celebrated the Espíritu Latino. Reporter Karishma Desai was there.
Somerville residents gathered at City Hall to celebrate the city's Latino heritage.
This is the first time, and I feel so proud because the community, the Latino community especially, they respond well to this event, and hopefully we will get more people involved.
Local photographer Mario Quiroz also debuted his photograph exhibit Espíritu Latino at City Hall.
The main idea is to create a visual record of what does it mean to be Latino in Somerville in 2015. So instead of doing traditional portraits in, like in non-natural environment, we took the camera and we went where people live, where people work, and we photographed them there. So they're in their natural environment, and you can see the goodness coming from their heart.
Mayor Curtatone spoke regarding the significance of diversity in Somerville.
Because we speak 52 languages, 1/3 of our population comes from another country, and it's so important that we build upon that incredible richness that we have in our community.
Vibrant and intricate woodwork by father-son duo Ventura and Beto Fabian was also on display. The Fabians are here as a part of the Mexican Visiting Artists Program.
Ventura Fabian is actually a famous wood carver, and that's his son Norberto, who does most of the painting. And they're from a wood carving village called San Martin Tilcajete, right outside the big colonial, beautiful town of Oaxaca, Mexico. The animals are traditional indigenous animals, and then there are pure alebrijes that are totally from the imagination. Their indigenous tribe goes back to the Zapotecs, which are like the Aztecs or the Mayans. In Oaxaca, they're the largest indigenous group. And in the temples there, the ruins, you could actually see these designs carved into stone. So they use that for their inspiration, and a lot of their work is covered with Zapotec designs.
Summer Viva, who co-sponsored the event, helps connect immigrant residents with services and promotes cultural diversity.
Especially now, Somerville is doing a lot of changes, and we want all the communities be involved in all the process. So that is part of our job, get the community involved.
Habits are really hard to break. And if you are set in your ways or in one way of doing things, only when there's an earthquake, something that shakes things around you, makes you wonder. But we shouldn't have to wait for an earthquake to shake us and start looking around. And it's not that tomorrow we all have to learn to speak 5 different languages, but at least to learn the basic of cultures. And that's why food is so wonderful, because it's a very good way to blend things. I think it's really important for everybody to know about everybody, as simple as that, because you might have wonderful things sitting next to you, but if you don't go and knock and ask, or you cannot communicate because language barriers or whatever reason, you might be sitting next to a pile of gold. So that's why it's so wonderful to have spaces and to use art to create this like invisible oil that lubricates relationships.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Karishma Desai.
The Espiritu Latino photo exhibit by Mario Quiros will be on display at Somerville City Hall through January 19th. Now let's see what's in this week's Somerville Journal with editor Dan Atkinson.
Hello, this week in the Somerville Journal we'll have coverage of Demo Day at Greentown Labs, the latest on plans for Union Square, and a look at who won the election on Tuesday. You can always catch us online at somerville.wickedlocal.com, follow us on Twitter at VilleJournal, and get in touch with me at 617-629-3385 or datkinson@wickedlocal.com.
Giving Tuesday Somerville is a collaboration of 14 Somerville nonprofits. The groups are working together to support one another and to increase visibility for all local nonprofits. Tonight we profile 4 more participating organizations.
Somerville Community Corporation works to preserve the economic, racial, and ethnic diversity of Somerville by bringing affordable housing to the city and ensuring everyone has the opportunity to build a life here. The First Source program connects residents with local jobs, offers skill training and readiness workshops. Financial literacy and homebuyer education programs support those who work to create a home in Somerville. Somerville Community Corporation is committed to retaining the diversity that makes Somerville vibrant. For over 10 years, Arts at the Armory has provided a space for artists and the community to come together and bridge cultural, class, and generational divides. Arts at the Armory provides a home to artists and organizations as well as a venue for performances and exhibits. They offer a warm and inviting space for collaboration, coffee, and conversation. In order to excite the artistic spirit of the Somerville community, Arts at the Armory exhibits a wide range of visual arts, dance, theater, and musical performances.
My life today, after getting to know maps, is very good. Certainly you feel safer and more complete when you become a citizen, and now I share this information with others.
We're an organization in Somerville that works to build the voice and power of immigrant families, adults and youth, to be able to better participate in the civic life of the city. What happens in LIPS is that the youth are trained to use their language interpretation skills. We bring in a professional medical interpretation company, Cross-Cultural Communications, that has developed a special curriculum for youth so that they really get professional training in interpretation.
You can support the Giving Tuesday campaign online at givingcommon.org/GivingTuesdaySomerville, or by sending a check to Groundwork Somerville at 24 Park Street, number 7, Somerville, Mass. 02143. Please put Giving Tuesday Somerville in the memo line on your check. Somerville Neighborhood News will continue to profile Giving Tuesday nonprofits through the end of November. The creative spirit can strike anytime, anywhere. Reporter Ellie Romano introduces us to a young woman who found inspiration in a local donut shop.
It all started on one of those snowbound winter days last year. Sarah Kaiser was just another regular customer stopping at Union Square Donuts to order some tasty treats for her office. There she was, waiting for a bus, post-donut pickup, with that cardboard bakery box on her lap. The smell of fresh, warm donuts all around her. And what did she do? Start tasting? Not Sarah.
Sometime during the winter, I got stuck inside the indoor lobby of the Citibank over there, and I was bored and I had my pen, so I decided I'd draw on one of the boxes, and my coworkers loved it, so I kept doing it, and here I am.
And almost a year later, she has dozens of bakery box drawings. Kaiser is a professional software designer at Involution Studios, but comes to Union Square Donuts every Friday to draw on donut boxes. She calls it Union Square Doodle Box.
Sometimes I'll come in on the weekends and just kind of do something nice for the community, draw whoever wants to be drawn.
The drawings she does on the boxes range from sketches of the staff to animals playing poker around a card table. Her inspiration comes from all over.
Usually whatever's on my mind that day, or I like to take requests from people, coworkers, the folks who work here.
Her favorite doodle at the moment is one of the character Furiosa from the movie Mad Max Fury Road. The community also appreciates her creativity.
They're very sweet, but also very polite. So occasionally I'll have someone come up to me and say like, oh, that's really cool, you do drawings? Or, you know, they want to find where they can see more of them.
And these curious onlookers can find more of her work on the Union Square Doodlebox Facebook page. Kaiser continues to return every week not only because her coworkers encourage her to, but also because she loves the atmosphere of Union Square Donuts.
The people who work here are really, really sweet. They really take care of me. Sometimes they'll give me a free coffee for coming in, which is really nice. It's just nice to see friendly faces, interact with my community.
Kaiser plans on continuing her doodles until the next creative canvas catches her eye. For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Ellie Romano.
And that's our newscast for tonight. We'll be back on November 17th at 7 p.m. on Channel 3. Check out all of our news stories at somervilleneighborhoodnews.org. Somerville Neighborhood News is a community service production of SCAT TV. We invite you to get involved. Visit our Facebook page, SCATV-SNN, to comment. Tweet us at SCATV-SNN, call us at 617-628-8826, or email us at news@scatvsomerville.org. I'm Joe Lynch for Somerville Neighborhood News. See you around the Ville.